welcome back. I'm your man, Bad Chad, and we just got back from Australia, and I feel absolutely awesome. Actually, we just didn't get back from Australia. We come back from Toronto Motorama, but we had 2 weeks in Australia, and I had a fantastic time. I'm wearing your flag. I'm wearing your flag. I'm flying high. I want to thank Rod and Di for the most awesome trip they could have put together for us. We got to see a lot of shops. And it was a nice experience to go there and to recognize their work, to learn things, to meet people. There's a lot of people that stood out in Australia to me. I don't know if I have to go through the names or not, but there's a lot of people that stood out to me. How you doing, Dave? Anyways, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. The overwhelming response that we got was quite something else. I wasn't expecting that. They showed a lot of respect, and I just want to show a little bit back by wearing the flag. The countryside was beautiful. It was green with a lot of rolling hills, a lot of sounds of different animals that we've never heard before. They had a few different rules that I probably would bring to Canada. That as I was talking to people, Jolene had a fantastic time. The cars were absolutely over the top, amazing. The car culture down there, compared to where me and Jolene live, would probably not even comparison, not even a little bit, not even comparison a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what else to say more than that. Everybody was fantastic. That's mostly what I got to say. Also, what I do want to say is there's Chris, Terry, and Oliver. They wanted to come meet us at one of the car shows. Their flight got turned around, and then they got on another flight, and that got turned around and got it messed up. Chris, Terry, and Oliver, I'm hoping that I get to see you next time, because there probably would, no doubt in my mind, there will be a next time, whether it's at a car show or whatever we're doing. I'm not sure. Vacationing, I'm not sure, but there will be a next time. I want to thank you for the effort that you put in. Yeah, thank you for the effort. Chris, Terry, and Oliver, we didn't get to meet them, but they put in a lot of effort to come to see us, and just want to give you a shout out. Jolene, anybody you want to shout out? There's a lot of people that stood out that, it's hard to just to mention a couple people when there were so many different people. The museum was awesome. Pat's Restoration was awesome. Little Mick's place was awesome. Juice's place was awesome. The places that Di took us, and Rod and Di took us up in that big building, and we got to look over Australia. What was that building called? The Q1 Tower. That was awesome. Just running around and seeing the different places, that was nice. The beer was good. The accommodations were good. It was absolutely awesome. Toronto Motorama. We flew into Toronto Motorama. It was quite, what can I say? We were exhausted from the plane ride, but we had an obligation at Toronto Motorama, and we stuck to it. We got to chop a car there. We got to sell some of our merchandise there. That went fantastic. The guy that made our shirts and everything, he did a fantastic job. Did the hats, he did a fantastic job. I want to apologize to the man with the pink van. That van was absolutely awesome. There was a pink van at the Toronto Motorama. I was supposed to get a picture with him in his van, and I did not do that. I got kind of messed up when we were taking off. Kind of rushed out of the building and went to the airport, but I did not get that picture with you. I apologize. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. Also, I did not get to sign the Lincoln Welder. I was asked to do that. I did not do that. I kind of messed up on that too. My head was kind of spinning in circles with, talking to people and thinking about what I was supposed to do with the chop. Ken was absolutely awesome. The guy with the 33 Plymouth or Dodge, he was absolutely awesome. Everything went really, really well. From what I understand, everybody liked the chop. Getting good words and good messages from that. That went really well. Yeah, the Toronto Motorama was absolutely awesome. We worked every day there. We were quite busy there. We didn't get much time on the chop, but we got enough time to chop it off and put it back together so Ken can go for it after we left. Yeah, like it was absolutely awesome. I'm going to take this flag off now, and after thanking everybody for the awesome trip and all that sort of stuff, I still got a little bit of jet lag going on. My ears are kind of messed up a little bit. I blew my nose over here before I started and I almost went down. It's just kind of something's going. I got my ears kind of messed up from maybe the long flight or something like that, maybe. Jolene's doing fantastic. I think she had a fantastic time. I can't say it enough. But when we took off, we had this 36 Hudson. Excuse my licorice. This 36 Hudson. It's a survivor, that's for sure. But I've got it inside here, and we're kind of messing with it. I'm going to just open up the doors here. Jolene can show you what's going on the inside. There's been a rodent inside the old girl, and I'm going to try to start cleaning it out and start figuring it out. She stinks. Stink like a billy goat dink. Her hair was cow shit brown. Her tits hung loose like the balls on a moose, and she's a girl from my hometown. No, she's not. But anyways, I see there's a condenser for the distributor. I think that's a condenser. We have the original that now, would you? Goes in the grill. And that would turn that sucker over, I guess, would it not? I don't know if it's going to fit through there or not, but there that is. As you can tell, I'm not really ambitious. This is our first day in real time. If you want to come to the window for a second, it's snowing here in Nova Scotia. Australia is really looking good right at the present moment. We got snow coming down. We can't get our truck up to the new shop yet, and the reason being is because the amount of snow. So as I get looking at the Hudson, as I get looking at it, I'm kind of wondering what I want to do with it. I do like the rust on it, and I do like the patina on it. I'm not sure if I want to leave it like all original or not. I know there's a few people that really think I should just leave it the way it is, but basically the whole car needs to be gone over. The brakes need to be gone over, the engine needs to be gone over, all the lights need to be gone over. I'd like to take and fix some and repair some of the dent work, like on the back fenders, kind of dented up quite heavy. I'd like to take them off and repair them a little bit, make them a little bit better. You can see how good a shape it is. It's in pretty good shape, like the bottom of the doors. Got the lip still on them. The lip's still on the bottom of this door. I don't think there's been a whole bunch of body work done to the car. I don't think. It is what it is, but I want to get inside and clean it out. I do, and I don't, if you know what I'm trying to say. It's kind of, like I said, stinky a little bit. I'm going to take the back wheels off and get a couple back tires put on it so I can roll it around. But as I get looking at it, and as I come back from Toronto Motorama, and we did a chop on the 33 Plymouth, I'm thinking a chop would look good on this. And I'm not thinking about doing a bunch of body work to it. What's in my brain is lowering it down, so I'd lower it down a little bit, get it closer to the ground. That's in the suspension, and then I would just do a chop on it, and that's it. Just kind of change it up a little bit. I would leave all the rust on it, leave it the way it is, but I really want to knock the roof down on this one a little bit. Not sure if I'm going to get right at it, but it's probably next in line. I've got a couple pieces of tape here. This is basically what I'm thinking. I hope everybody liked the idea of the tape. It kind of takes the measuring out of it and all the foolishness out of it, kind of simplifies it. So if I put 2 pieces of tape there, that's basically what I have to chop out of everything. So if this is a 4-door car, this would be sort of difficult, but I would try to make it easy like I did Ken's car. I would take that much out of there, that much out of there, same thing around the back, take that much out of there, and then I would end up cutting the post out of the window and the post out of the front of the door. Then we would set it back down exactly in place, and the reason being is I wouldn't want to move that post all around in here and this post all around here. If I start doing that, then you start messing with there's a bunch of stuff that get messed with, and basically if you want to chop something, you want to make it as easy as possible. That's where I'm at all the time, trying to make it as easy as possible. I'd knock it off and set it right back down. On this car, I've got a hinge here and a hinge here, so when I knock it down, that hinge is going to come free, or it's going to be in place, but that hinge is going to come back down and be welded down here, so there would be no movement on the hinge. Like I'd be taking a piece out of here, yes, and the roof would come off, yes, with the top of the door, yes, and the hinge would come off with the roof, yes it would, but when I weld it back down, that hinge would come back down, weld back on that post in place. And I'm thinking the exact same thing here. I'm thinking on the back, I might be able to get this piece to come inside here a little bit. I might be able to shrink this a little bit to get it to come to the roof, so I wouldn't have to do a bunch of work there. I'm really trying to figure it out so I could cut this car like I did Ken's car and just lower the roof down on it and try not to do hardly any body work on it. If I had to do a little body work on it from there to there, that would be fine. If I had to do a little body work there where I weld it back together, that'd be fine. And a little bit of work right here. I'm thinking that I could put a little fill in it. I could probably get a little blue paint and make it look rusty, so you would never know it was even chopped. That's what I'm looking for. I'd like to keep the patina on it, lower it, chop it, and run it that way. When we were at the Motorama, there was a lot of questions. We had a question Q&A, I guess they call it. Me and Jolene went up on the stage, and a young person asked me how much money do I try to spend on the builds and that sort of stuff. And I like to, obviously, you've been following the YouTube, I like to spend as least as possible. When it comes to the engine in this, I would not change anything if it runs. I don't feel like it would be necessary for me to put in like a 350 in or an LS in it or anything like that. Generally, the only time I'm into putting an engine into something, if it hasn't got one, obviously, then I'm into putting an engine in it. But if the engine in this car runs and I can get it to stop on its own brakes, I would be very happy with that, because I basically probably would only run this car to, or to our local New Minas or our town, and that would probably be 15 minutes away. I wouldn't take it on a long trip and drive across country in it, no, but I would take it, over town and back and go have coffee or go to supper in it. That's basically what I would do with it. Most of the cars that we have, that's all we would do with it. If we were going to take a long run or something like that, then we'd use the car that would do that long run, I guess. But I feel like I'll keep the car the way it is. I keep the engine in it because it's in there. There's no sense in me changing it or doing anything like that with it. I like to leave it just like it is, but I want to knock the roof down. So I'm going to end up getting some tires put on it and getting it so I can roll it back and forth. I'm not going to be able to get it in the other shed right now because of the snow, but I am going to take the tires off it and go from there. So the plan is to lower it, whack the roof on it, leave all the rust on it, maybe take some fenders off it and try to fix them up a little bit so they're back on there and that stuff. What can I say? I'm not the guy that would probably, I'm not the guy to get the engine running and that stuff, troubleshoot that stuff. I'm not that guy. I'll probably have someone come in and maybe we'll film it, see how it goes. I'm going to have to look around or muster up somebody that's going to do that for me. Yeah. It's hard to get started to go back to work when we had so much, so much time where we're at the Toronto Motorama in Australia. It probably slowed me down a little bit, took a little bit out of me, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. We had a fantastic time, fantastic time. I'm gonna just knock this thing up in the air, see if I can't get the wheel off. So hopefully I can keep this a runner. Well, that's the main goal, is to keep this bad boy a runner, just the way it is, with the roof knocked down, try to get all the mechanicals going back on it. I have not really been underneath the car yet. I'm going to have to get underneath of it to check it out and see what's going on. It looks pretty dry. Looks pretty dry. The gas tank is still there. The gas tank straps are still there. All the spring hangers look good. The muffler's still on it. It's probably going to have an exhaust put on it. I see there's some nests, like wasp nests, some wasp nests on it. That's fine. That's fine. So we'll do the best we can do to get it movable. I might have to get not sure if Jolene will get on the tractor or I'll get on the tractor, but we'll get on the old tractor and move a little bit of snow, and then we'll see if we can't get the car in the shop. If you're watching, you'll have to think about how you would chop it. And when it comes to a chop, I'm always thinking about the easiest, fastest, quickest way. And I'm thinking just cutting it off, bringing it back down on the post, and then dealing with the front window and dealing with the back. That's what I'm thinking. Also, when you come back here and look at this car, there's not much room in between the back window and the trunk lid. Also, if you cut the back window out, when you move it up, then you are in that round part of that roof up there, because it's going round. So that's a thing on the brain. It's quite a small back window, and it's actually quite a small front window. And if we take a look around it, the front window has to be replaced because it's broke. It's got a spot there where it's got a chip, and then we also have a place where it's broke up in the corner, and we have our side glass on this side. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's kind of messed up a little bit, so we'll have to deal with that. We'll have to deal with that. See what happens, see if we can't get this back wheel off. We have also, before I get that done, we have a bunch of stuff that we want to open. There's Fina. There's Fina. Fina was with Danny all the 3 weeks we were gone. She's happy to be home. But we have a bunch of gifts that we want to open up. People have sent us. We haven't got them all here, but we're going to open them up and share them with you. And we have to thank everybody. There's more still down the house that we like to bring up. We're going to do it up here. That's what we think we're going to do. When we left, I hauled, this car is called the Bat Out of Hell. We hauled the car up, and we had left to take off to go to the airport. And I said, Jolene, I got to go back. She said, why? And I said, well, we hauled that car to that building down there, and I'm not sure if there's any mice in it or what, but I come back and I set up some mouse traps before we left, and lo and behold, there was 2 mice. And you know what mice does? That sort of stuff. And it was a good thing that we set a couple traps, because I'm feeling like they probably would have got into something and terrorized something like we probably wouldn't want them to. That's what happened. See if we can't get these off. Wow, that came out some easy. Beautiful. what can I say? Not a big fan of the studs, but, or the, yeah, studs, but the way these wheels are put on. I like the stud sticking out so you can get the wheel put on, but it is what it is. It looks like a small bullhole Ford is what it looks like. Might be a different thing getting them off. Might have to get myself a hammer. Got a couple jack stands, hold the car up. I like these they call them some people call them a bottle cap wheel. I was known to call them a military wheel, but I like these wheels on it. I will keep those wheels. I really enjoy them. You can see what's going on here. Come in, take a look. The springs look nice. They don't seem to be broke or anything. Gas tank still there. Spring hanger still there. It's got a sway bar in the back. Wow, I didn't know it got a sway bar in the back. Not really looking to work in the new shop, but I really do have to get some wheels put on it. So that's what has to happen. Sort it in the way there. Jack her up a little higher. Yeah, I had an older gentleman tell me, do not chop that car. Well, I think it'll look good. I'm not going to change anything other than bring the roof down a little bit. That's all I'm going to do, just bring her down a little bit. There. I got a rope on there for some reason. Not sure why, but there's a rope on there. Put this one on. Usually the gas tank's rotted off in these bad boys. Exhaust is still there. It's not hooked up to the muffler, but it's still there. I'm going to get a jacket. Jack it up one more. Jack it up just a little bit more. Just a little bit. If I just want to go underneath and take a look and see what I really, damn it. Yeah, if you want to jack it, a couple little jacks there. What's the name of the guy that gave us the slot car? Neil. How you doing, Neil? Have to forgive me. I remember what's going on, but sometimes I remember. That's good. That's good. I forget the name, but Neil was fantastic. And the race car place we went to, the race car in Australia, that was fantastic. That race was with me and Jolene in the car. That was something else. That was something else, man. I think there was Jolene said there was a comment. Something about me being tough and I wouldn't even drive the cars. Well, I don't think me driving cars got anything to do with being tough. Also, I probably would be grabbing for the window, trying to shift it, if you know what I'm trying to tell you. And also, if you do not know it or not, the less responsibility you take in life with somebody's stuff or something other than belongs to you, it keeps you out of trouble. I've come to realize that. If a lot of people ask me to drive their car, it's like buddy that took me down the track in the methanol car, the what was that car called? That was a Willys, 30-some Willys. I asked them not to go fast down the track. A lot of people give them, you know, oh, car, whatever. Like, I asked him not to go all over the road, because when he went up the track, that thing was going sideways, back and forth, and he's used to it. I didn't want to, there was nobody I was racing, or nobody that I wanted to, you know, basically I didn't want to go down the track sideways 150 mile an hour. Did not want to do that. I would go down the track, that's fine, but in all honesty, I don't think it's got anything to do with being tough or anything like that. It's just a little bit of common sense, where I'm not interested in getting to another country and getting hurt or anything like that. I know that person, what's his name? Do you remember? Sean, was it? I know that he wasn't going to hurt me, and I appreciate that he did as I asked, because I didn't want to go fast down the track. But you know, sometimes people throw out comments that have you have no idea. So it's kind of I guess that's how it's easier to judge, because you don't have to think, basically. But we had a fantastic time. You know, there were certain things that I wasn't interested in doing. I wasn't interested in racing that car around that track to have anything happen whatsoever. You know, not even close. I hope that, you know, some people can take something from that, because you really can get yourself in trouble messing with other people's stuff. You really can. With me, if I, you know, break something to somebody's, or if I destroy something to somebody's, I feel like I am on the hook to repair it and fix it and make it right. And if I do not take the responsibility of driving it or using it or whatever, then that responsibility is gone, because I've deleted it, because I'm not taking the chance. That's as simple as that. When someone asks you, well, hey, you go and take my bike for a drive. Go ahead, take my bike for a drive. You go down the road on his bike, something happens, make a mistake, think you want to step on it, or you want to do something to it, something happens. Well, you know what? You're on the hook. And if you want to call me whatever, I just feel like I'm being a little bit smarter not doing that. Then I'm not on the hook. I'm not on the hook. I'm just taking this rope off for a second, because it's bothering me. I just want to show what it looks like underneath. Wow. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. I'm going to pull this rope out. Just pull that out. And I would say that would be very good advice for any young person. You know, take my bike for a drive, take my four-wheeler for a drive, no, don't do that, I've done that. It don't work out that well. I'm going to pull this jack out. Do you want to get down? Jolene's going to get down. Just a minute now. I'm going to set a piece of cardboard down for you, and we'll just take a run underneath this bad boy. And just to show, what's going on underneath. You know, it's a big deal when you want to get down, take a look underneath your car, see what's going on. Put your battery box is rusty. Now, what's that? Up in here, there's no holes whatsoever up in that floor. Up inside, there's no holes whatsoever. Original floor in it. All the cross members look good. The battery box has got a little rod on it. It's got a mount here. That looks good on the chassis. The frame looks good. She's dry, but it looks good. The exhaust running through there. Looks good. Spring hangers are all solid. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Very lucky. It's got a piece of wood in there. I'm not sure what the piece of wood's all about, but it's got a piece of wood in there. That could be factory. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's got cable. It's got brakes or no, it's got juice brakes. It's got emergency brake right there. That's emergency brake because it's got juice brakes back there. You can see the
juice going to the rear end. You can see the flex line. See that rubber flex line? Yeah. The gas tank still on it. Very nice. Very nice. With the rear end, you can see how the rear end is on top of the springs. So I would just buy lowering blocks. The rear end's on top of springs, so I get rid of the U-bolts, and I take them off and bring the rear end up, put a lowering block in between, which brings the rear end up, which would lower it in the back. I'm not sure what goes on in the front. I have no idea what kind of front suspension this has. It has leaves like a Chevy, parallel leaves, so I could maybe, I'm not sure. Not sure. It's got a straight axle in it. It's kind of a different setup. Yeah, it hasn't got a wishbone. It's just got two big arms to either side, which I think would be better. Wishbone goes to the straight axle into the center on the Ford and into the center like that. This just has two arms coming to this side of the chassis and this side of the chassis, which I think would make it more stable. I'm thinking that the Ford had that wishbone thing so it could articulate the front wheels more, but I'll have to figure out how I'm going to get that. That shouldn't be a problem. I should be able to get a spring made. It's got the springs on it, front axle underneath. I want to get that lowered down some. I might be able to get a spring made at a trailer shop and just put like a one spring in it to lower it down, because it's got probably that many. All right, I got the back wheel off. You can see we got a hole burnt in that one. I'm going to get the wheel burnt and taken off the other side, and I'm going to go to town and get some tires put on that. I have some 16-inch tires in the container right there, so I'll have to probably dig some snow away and get the tires out. We'll take them to town. Me and Jolene will go to town, and I'll get some tires put on. And then when you come back tomorrow, I'll have some tires put on it. We might be able to roll it around a little bit. Maybe I will take out the interior. You'll get to watch me gag a little bit. We'll take out the interior and clean that up a little bit, see what the snow's like, whether we can move things or not. And that's what I'm doing today. Nice and slow and nice and easy breezy. I'm sorry for the little nursery rhyme, but I wasn't thinking. I just wasn't thinking. I have many nursery rhymes. You probably don't want to hear them. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for coming back. I'm still kind of jet lagged a little bit. Still trying to reminisce, everything that has happened. But everything that happened was fantastic. Everything was good. All the flights were good. The flight going to Australia, we just kind of, it was late at night, so we slept halfway. I woke up with a chicken sandwich on my lap. I ate my chicken sandwich, went back to sleep, woke up, played a little checkers with Jolene. We were there. On the way back, we were up the whole time, and there was a big difference. And then we flew from Vancouver to Toronto, had a day's break, and right into the Motorama. And when I must tell you, when I walked into the Motorama, I thought I was chopping a Model A. I didn't know why, but I just thought I was chopping a Model A. I was just going to cut it and it's just going to drop it down. It was not that car. So I really had to muster up the thought how I was going to do it. But it did work out absolutely awesome. Yeah. Lots of things to think about. All right, everybody. Like, share, comment, come back, subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow.